Thank you so much for joining us, dear viewers. This is our weekly program, Talk to OBN. I'm Mohammed by hosting this program for you. Have a good time with us. Today I'm joined by one African brother from Algeria, and his name is Mohammed Yahiaoui. Mohammed, many thanks for joining me and welcome to this program.
Thank you very much. It's Mohammed Yahiaoui, but I forgive you. This is not a familiar name here. I do the same when I mention our Ethiopian friends' names, you know, sometimes.
All right.
So my name is Mohammed Yahiaoui and I'm from Algeria, and I'm very happy to be here.
Just to begin with a kind of introduction, would you mind please to introduce yourself and then we'll proceed to our today's discussion.
Okay. I'm not going to tell you my age, but I am in the filming industry. I come from Algeria, which is in North Africa, and I've been working in a television network channel, which is called Canal Algérie. It's a francophone channel. As you probably know, in Algeria we have a lot of French speakers because we've been colonized by the French in the past. I specialize in the Africa cultural heritage, tangible and intangible African heritage. So because I am a firm believer that in Africa we have a lot of potentialities in terms of traditions, past, and mostly history. A lot of people think that Africa doesn't have a history, which is a blasphemy. It's an insult. Africa has a long history, and it has had civilizations, empires, right in the Stone Age, well before the European colonizers, during the Iron Age as well. So we have a lot of potentials, and I'm here to make my modest contributions to promote these potentials.
That's great. What is your professional achievement so far?
In this field, I have reached a stage where I finished my ad hoc contractual work everywhere. I am retired, but I keep on doing what I have always loved in my life. You know, it's my passion, and that is to transmit the what I can see around me, and with some messages that can be understood to the watchers and listeners. And that is, as I said, you know, everything that has a potential in terms of cultural heritage, patrimony. My achievement so far is doing promotional work for African countries, and I think because of my English language mastery, I am more interested in this area, which is East Africa. So I do many things in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and of course Ethiopia is a priority because Ethiopia I consider is my second country. I fell in love with Ethiopia 5 years ago when I came here, and I saw a lot of very rich in terms of history, tradition, So I've been doing this promotional work. In Algiers, when I go back to my television network, they call me Mr. Africa. I am an Africanist, and that's what I do most, promoting, doing documentaries, which are on, I've got a YouTube page, and so far my administrator hasn't set it up properly, so don't ask me to give you the link because it's not yet properly done. But it's a lot to do with documentaries on Africa, East Africa, mainly English-speaking countries.
How can you explain the tourism was that the country or the continent Africa have in general?
Africa has a huge potential in terms of tourism. There are so many examples where people come from other continents, from Europe, United States, from South America. They come here for inspiration. So many of my colleagues, filmmakers, come here to be inspired to make up their documentaries. That shows that in Africa we have a huge touristic potentials, and fortunately not very well developed, well, in the process of being developed at the moment, for good reasons. You know, we've been colonized, we've been, I think we've been a very unlucky continent, you know, because there's been a lot of invasions, and they made us slaveries. We have suffered a lot of our colonization in Algeria. We've been colonized by France for 130 years. And these people, whether my French friends like it or not, but the old official France was to come to us to exterminate us. In these places, they would make you, they were making you slaves. In our place, we have evidence now with unclassified documents that the French, when they came to Algeria, it was to exterminate those indigenous rebels who do not like to follow the rules, who do not like to obey. So, unfortunately, Africa is, has had this bad time, and it has implications. We haven't got, our mind somehow has been reformatted, you know, redesigned, reconfigured, to make it sound as though Africa has no history, and it just started to become a being when the colonizer came in, and that's a big mistake. So we're still suffering from these handicaps. We are not, unfortunately, too much aware of our own potentials. There are so many examples where you look around here in Africa, you think it's all normal, but if somebody else comes with a foreign eye, with new views, they will say it's something absolutely out of this world. It's paradise, the way I am experiencing it now.
Well, do you think that the Africa or the continent in general is benefiting from its own resources, from its own wealth? Do you think that?
I think Africa has been so, in the past, you know, we really need to all the time to go back to the past to explain the present situation. In the past, as I said, you know, we've been robbed from our resources. Fortunately enough, we're trying now to recover our identity, our possibilities of exploiting our own resources. It takes time. It takes generations to educate the people, to make them aware of the richness of our resources and promoting them. We are doing it, but on a sort of slow pace. And as you know, we are now in this globalization. We cannot do things on our own. So there are some interactions with other countries and partnership, and Africa in general. I've been looking through the papers. Almost each country is refining its investment code to encourage and facilitate the development of these resources. And I'm sure, I'm convinced it will happen, but it takes time.
Well, what are challenges that you see it not too properly managing or benefiting from tourism sector in this continent in Africa?
Alors, big challenges. If only we could do things ourselves to promote tourism, because tourism is here. You know, the treasury is there. So we just need to look at it, brush it up, make it just, you know, consumable, if I can say. If you would take the example of Ethiopia here, I mean, you've got everything, man. You've got volcanoes, you've got Danakil, you've got Dalol, you've got the south, you've got the ethnic tribes, you've got, what else do you want? It's there. The only problem is we need to improve our communications towards those who are interested in tourism outside Ethiopia, but we've got to promote domestic tourism as well here. This is happening everywhere. I went to India, I was visiting the Taj Mahal, and there was perhaps 2 foreign people among thousands of Indians visiting their own places, their own sites. And this is what's happening now because we're suffering. Well, this COVID thing has triggered some thinking of our own resources and what to do with them. And the tourism aspect is one of them. And we are, in Algeria, for example, we are encouraging domestic tourism. We are encouraging Algerians to visit Algeria, whether diaspora or local people. And the same should be happening here in Ethiopia. I was with the tourism, the Oromia Tourism Commissioner, and we were talking about it. And one of her achievements, and if I may say hello to her, Madame l'Élysée, very good, very good. It's one of those people that you should put here on the top of these institutions, and they will trigger the things. Because I've been working with her team. You know, I was for 2 weeks now. 1 week I spent with the tourism, her team, and the Oromia television people here. You know, we went together, and we were doing this extraordinary work under tremendous heat, very harsh conditions, but very enthusiastic. And Madame l'Élysée, the commissioner, has got a young team, you know, very, very, very motivated. To give you an example, yesterday we were working together, and we all left the office at 8 o'clock in the evening.
Yes.
So, to go back to your question, we've got the motivations, as long as it expands and it goes into the different sectors, you know, to encourage our African tourism. This is one of the challenges. It's to develop, to expand, because now we are aware of our potentialities, and the political will is there. So our politicians are aware of our country's features. So all we need is just to get more people to do what we've just done with the Oromia television broadcast and tourism commission together. This is a very good idea, and we've been doing some very good work to promote tourism in Ethiopia. That's one of the challenges. Just we have to repeat these experiences. We have to take children from school in buses, take them out in the country, show them the features, show them the historical places where things have happened. Just to show them that they've got to be aware that Ethiopia has a history, and the history and the past, it's good, bad, you've got the death, the winners, the losers, but at least it's history, and we are proud of it. We should be proud of it.
Which African countries have you covered with your relation to your career or job or professional, like doing films and others, due to some or for other reasons? And what is your experiences and that Ethiopia can learn from these countries? You can share us your best experience in this regard.
Of course, I am here to share my experience with Ethiopia, because I want Ethiopia to get off the ground. There is everything. It's we're wasting our time. We should go and do something to promote it. And one of the actions that have been taken by the Oromia Tourism Commission is to invite me from Algeria to come here. And I've come with my own means, 36 hours flight from Algiers through Istanbul to Addis Ababa. I stayed 24 hours waiting at Istanbul, but I didn't care. I came here, somebody needed me, and I love Ethiopia, why not? So we should, I've had experience in Kenya, in Tanzania, in Uganda, South Africa, Congo, and I am transmitting my experience, what I've seen, my humble experience. I am giving it now to my Ethiopian brothers here. whether the Tourism Commission or the television network broadcast where I am here. I am giving everything, you know. I even gave my equipment for some of our colleagues here to test them, to try them. But we've done some conjugated work. You've got an excellent team here. They are, as I told you, they are very keen to achieve work. I mean, there is one guy here called Abtamu. Haptamu. Abtamu means, he said to me, rich man.
Yes.
And I said, but you're not rich, you're working like a poor peasant. He said, I am rich inside. So I called him Mr. Rich Man Inside, which is very philosophical, you know. I mean, if you are rich inside, that's the best thing. That's what I want to be.
Right.
You know, I haven't got much money in my pocket. Let me see. That's some coins here. I don't know how much will that take me. But inside, in my mind, you know, with the people around me, I am very rich. I feel very rich. And that's why I'm giving it to other people. To go back to experience, this is a different place. You've got to remember. Kenya, for example, which I can compare, it had been dominated by the British. It's an ex-Commonwealth country. So they all speak English, or at least they understand English.
Sure.
And here, please, 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 get your children to school. Teach them a foreign language, international language, English, French, Arabic, because in some remote places I get a panic. I don't know who to talk to. Nobody understands me. We have to do something about it. That's one of the challenges that you have been asking me about. Get somebody, I mean, all the guides speak English, at least they understand it. In the past, I used to go and cover the whole, you know, the north, the south. The guides, they can understand what I say. And I understand them. But the rest of the people, we've been to East Hararghe in those remote villages, Harare. Just a few people speak the English. We've got to learn. If we want to open ourselves to the external world, we've got to learn a foreign language. The other thing is Kenya is, you know, it's an open sea country. You're a landlocked country, but nevertheless you have a lot of lakes to compensate. So the experiences is just, you know, a personal experience that I have acquired, which I am transmitting. It's just to do with putting myself in the shoes of an overseas traveler. That I can do, and I think that's a good topic to follow. Here in Ethiopia, because, you know, not many people are aware of what the Farangi wants when they come to Ethiopia, despite the fact that everything is there. You just take him by the hand and show him, you know, everywhere, you know, the Blue Nile Falls, the Danak Hill, you know, the Omo Valley. But one of my experiences is to give them a foreign eye, you know, a view, an external view of, you know, the whole thing. That's perhaps one of the most valuable experiences that they will benefit. And they are benefiting, you know. They want a lot of feedback from me, and I am giving it back to them. I don't give it for free. They pay me a bunna.
All right.
A bunna. Then I give it.
A coffee.
A coffee.
All right. History also witnesses about Ethiopia's richness or special place, both in welcoming and expanding Christianity as well as Islamic religion in early days. How should Ethiopia benefit from this historical fact in relation to the tourism sector?
That's a very good point. I'm glad you mentioned this question. In Ethiopia, it's one of the very few countries where both religions coexist peacefully, and the dalil, the evidence of it is that, you know, in the morning, from one loudspeaker, you hear this singing, so nice, so soft, and the other speaker, you hear the adhan, the imsak, especially now that we are in Holy Ramadan.
Yeah.
And I wish a very happy Ramadan and happy Eid to all the Muslims who are fasting. And I wish the happy Easter to all the Christians who finished their 2 months fasting period. I even had some meat with them, in church. So that's a very good question. It's this tolerance, this resilience, that this coexistence, peaceful coexistence, that need to be put on the top of the tourist attraction. I was writing my reports, and I'm glad you mentioned this. I forgot to put this point, because to me it's natural. But to the overseas people, they've got to know that the two main religions coexist. Remember, in Europe, there is a lot of clash between Christians, Muslims, terrorism, all this hodgepodge, But here, it's absolutely, striking to see that both religions, and I put it in one of my films about Ethiopia. You didn't ask me about what I did in terms of films about Ethiopia. That will be the next question.
Yeah.
Please ask me.
All right.
But let me finish. It's got to be mentioned on our tourist guides, the coexistence of the religions here. It's a land of peace, land of coexistence of religions. Very important. I'm thinking of a way of putting it in practice, touristically. Like, for example, we could choose the religious route. And the religious route would be to go to Harare, for example, 99 mosques. You can't escape that. Then you go to Girdawa, or you come back to Addis Ababa, you see those beautiful churches. All religious route, both religions, That, and maybe other things as well that I am thinking about, which I will put in my recommendation reports. By the way, I'm writing a report with the help of the Tourism Commission Yangs who are with me, and will submit it for feedback.
Is there anything special that you have done in your profession about Ethiopia, and what can we expect from you upon your return to your country?
Right. What I've done to Ethiopia, I've made a film called Ethiopia, Land of Dream, because as soon as I landed here, I kept on dreaming, and I kept on saying, is that true, not true, reality? It's so new. The whole thing is so attractive. Wherever you look, wherever you go, it's beautiful. It's different, It doesn't necessarily mean that it's stainless steel, clean, and everything nice and settled. No, it's a different way of life, and we love to see different things. That's why we travel. Tourists travel to see different things, That's probably the reason for that. So I've made a very good film on Ethiopia called Land of Dream, and I put it on the Addis International Film Festival, 2019.
How can we find it?
You pay me a bunna and I will give you the link.
I'll do. No problem.
Okay. I'll give you the link. It's on my YouTube page, And it tells you the whole place. There's a bit of history, a bit of culture, tradition, landscapes, physical, ethnics, the whole thing.
All right. That's a great thing. And for the future, what should Ethiopians or Ethiopia or the government of Ethiopia have to do to benefit from its tourism sector? And what should be the future way for this government or for these people and country?
Okay. I am working closely with the Ethiopian embassy in Algiers to start to make both countries known to our travelers in both ways. What should Ethiopia do to promote in the future? The
tourism sector.
Ethiopia should, like Algeria, they should have direct airlines flights. We don't have it in Algeria, as I told you. 30 hours waiting at Istanbul, 24 hours. It's only 10 hours. If you go from Algiers, you go to Istanbul, and then Istanbul to Addis Ababa, it's about 10 hours flight. It's the waiting time in Addis Ababa, in Istanbul, that is so long. So that's one of those conditions, and you have an excellent and dynamic ambassador in Algiers. He's doing his best. He's coming back here, trying to do also to promote, to establish links. With him, we organized B2B meetings in Algiers with Algerian travel agents and the embassy, and to show them the potentialities. I've been interviewed, I gave lectures there. Ethiopia doesn't need to do much to promote tourism because, as I said earlier, it's all there. Just look at perhaps a bit of more media, communication, aggressivity, go for it. Get some choice for the visitors. Don't need to go just to those lodges, expensive ones. Give them some other alternatives, cheap ones like backpackers. That's what I'm doing in my recommendations, and it will go by itself. It's just such a beautiful country. The people are so attractive. You get this food where you have this huge injera, and you've got bits and pieces put here, and that is exactly an indication of a conviviality, inviting other people. That gives you a sign of hospitality. And everywhere, if I travel in the country, they call me, hey, come and have a bit of injera here, so I come with my hands. Sometimes they give it to me direct in my mouth.
Yeah, that's called gursha.
Gursha, bushi. That's good.
Well, in general, how would you want to summarize your stay in Ethiopia in general? How would you summarize it?
In general, get the people to speak English. I'm thinking of the negative points. I can't find too many, What else? That's all. In general, I'm very happy. Excellent time. I'm losing weight, by the way. It is magic.
What's the reason behind?
Magic Ethiopia. I don't know. I just came in here and just disappeared. And I'm very, very sensitive to overweight because I am a sportsman. I am an old marathon runner. Oh. Yeah, and I had some problems on my knees because of a bit of overweight. Because I do intensive training, especially now. I don't run. I just fitness, a bit of cardio. So overweight is a big problem for us in the north and in Europe, as you know. People would give anything to lose weight. So I want to address the Farangi people in Europe or in my country. Come to Ethiopia, you will lose weight freely.
Without costing anything.
Without costing anything.
Well, thank you, Mohammed. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you stay here, for choosing Ethiopia, for coming to our country. We really appreciate that thing. Thank you so much for your time again.
My pleasure. It's my great pleasure. Thank you very much for you, for the team, for this excellent place. I feel really at home. Yeah, that's why I'm saying Ethiopia is my second country, and also I am African, so I have a bit of share in Ethiopia.
Yeah, exactly. Ethiopia is the mother for this continent as well.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much again.
My pleasure.
Dear viewers, this will bring us to the end of this edition. We highly appreciate you to stay with our program. Till the next edition, have a beautiful time.